and he seen the news cameras. I don't know how the hell or why the hell they showed up, but we had stayed there for a while, so they knew there was, was something going on. But as soon as the news cameras got there and the ambulance finally got there, he jumped back in the car and we rolled off before he could take any credit at all. And I was
Nice.
just thinking, man, what the fuck? Man, you about to be this no man. Say
This the
it's your
time.
close, right? It's your close up, man. Say cheese. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
he's just like, man, Kev, you got to do what you're supposed to do because it's the
Mhm.
right thing. We ain't doing it for credit. We doing it because we great and we gonna be great to
Yeah.
people.
What's going on, family? Welcome to another episode of the Fatherhood Village podcast, the official home for proud fathers and mentors. I go by the name of Dale Holloway, rocking with the one and only, my brother, Kev Hick. What's happening, man? How you doing?
Oh man, I'm good, bro. Peace and love. That was an epic one. He used to do one and only.
Yeah. We only got one of them. You know what I'm saying? How's the fam doing?
Man, everybody's lovely, brother. Everybody healthy, everybody happy, and everybody whole.
Good.
And well
Yeah.
fed, might I say. Well fed.
Right. In the midst of this whole quarantine thing, man, it look like it's no end to this stuff, man.
Yeah, I thought it would be a lengthy process. I'm almost surprised that people thought it was just going to be an open and shut case.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while for people to get sick. So yeah, I already knew this was going to be a 3 month, 4 month, 6 month type of thing.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to administer this supposed vaccination for it, this
I
mandatory
ain't taking that
vaccination.
motherfucker. I don't. They better not. I ain't taking that
You
shit.
know what? I wish I had that same liberty because being in the military, we
Yeah,
have to. We're forced to. You know what I mean? Like we got to be in compliance, and that's the shitty part about it, man.
I got a government job, but I ain't taking it. Hey, look,
Yeah, he
I'm
said, "Hey, this is
good,
my
bro.
last day." Then I dig it. I dig it, man. But yeah, we're gonna break right into it, man. We're gonna go over life lessons, the life lessons that we've learned from our fathers, our mentors, things that we still carry with us to this day, things that are pretty much timeless. So I'll begin this one and list the main things that still stick in my mind, that still stick in my head, and things that I'm reminded of that my father taught me. And one of those was self-care. As a kid, you know, I was just ready to jump out the house looking crazy. I ain't showered, I ain't brushed my teeth. I'm ready to go play, ride the bike, go play ball. And my dad wasn't having that, man. He was like, "Hey, man," he had to get me straight. He was like, "Bruh, you can't do that. We Holloways, man. We can't go out here looking like no fool. Come
Right.
on now, go in there, take your shower, brush your teeth, comb your head. You know what I mean?" And those things I did like when I knew I was like going to go somewhere where I was going to be seen in a large group or the open public. But if I'm just going to my friend's house, if I'm just going to play ball up the street, you know what I mean? I didn't really care like that. And it sounded like a dirty kid, which it probably it was, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't look at it like that. Like each time that I stepped out the house, he reminded me, "Hey, you representing the family. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You're a representation of us and you're a walking billboard for yourself." And
Absolutely.
he wanted me to always keep that in mind, be well presented, grooming, like I said, self-care, taking care of everything before you left the house. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you was in tip-top condition. So that's something I still move with today.
Right. And it showed. Even when we was back in high school, man, like you could tell who had that as a lesson, man. Listen, Unfortunately, that was not my experience growing up, brother.
Yeah.
Man, that must have been one of them luxuries of having a father, because my mama didn't give a damn. As long as I was, as long as I was alive, and shit, I had ate. That was about the extent of it, man. I remember, man,
Yeah.
embarrassing ass picture of me at Christmas over granddad's house, of my granddad's house, and man, I swear my damn pants are about 3 inches too short.
Mm.
And by we, it's one of them, you don't want to look at the photo anymore, because
Yeah.
it's gonna be a whole family gathering about, man, look at this dude's pants, man. Look at what he
Yeah.
got on.
Why ain't
What you
nobody
got on?
tell me? Ain't nobody pull me to the side,
Yeah,
got
man.
me together.
I'm the youngest of four boys, so my brothers were basically adults when I was a kid, and they would catch me slipping out there, man, and they would always make sure to straighten me up. So for me, it wasn't dad, it was my brothers. Like, yo, bro, you got holes in your shoes. Just tell us you need shoes, man. Call us when mama don't buy you no shoes. Call us and we'll come get you right. And
Hmm.
so my brothers actually took that over. And when I learned that I could call on my brothers, and I mean, they've always done such a good job, just loving me and making sure that they didn't abandon me, even though I was so much younger than them. That's how I got this sense of taking care of yourself and presenting yourself well, because my brothers didn't want me walking around with holes in my shoes. It made them look funny. I'm hanging out
Right.
with them. You want to come over to my house? Yeah, and I come over there, I'm musty and shit, got holes in my shoes,
Yeah.
got a shirt that's 4 sizes too big, that type of shit. And
Uh-huh.
like I said, my mom just is not the style person. I adopted my mom's style as a kid, and she wears clothes. Like she now in later years, she gets fresh. She does her little thing and she gets nice at church. But when
Hmm.
we were poor, man, it was just like, bro, you got clothes on, I got clothes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that
Right.
was it. We didn't have a lot to represent. We didn't feel like, that wasn't really the focus, so my childhood was a little different. But my brothers caught me lacking, and they be like, bro, I don't care what the hell going on at the house. Call me, bro. I get you straight. And they
Exactly.
did, man. I remember my brother got his first check and bought me a Fila outfit. That's what he did with his first check. Couldn't wait to take me to the store to get me nice, right? Because his
Nice.
my big brothers had already gave him style, so that was my evolution into taking care of myself, is just connecting with my big brothers, and you know learning from them, because I didn't have no dad that was coming through and giving me nothing to represent.
Right. Yeah. That's big. That's big to have a big brother like that, man. Um, me being the only child, I didn't have that luxury. It wasn't, so I had older cousins, of course, and um, from that aspect, but in a lot of ways, I was pretty much the oldest in my, circle of immediate family. So like
Hmm.
my other cousins, like my closest cousin, Vic, you met him. We're
Yeah,
like
yeah,
brothers.
yeah, yeah,
We pretty much brothers. We don't really associate as cousins, man. It's deeper than that way. We've been with each other since birth, like literally, like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So he and we're only 6 months apart, but he looks up to me as the big brother. You know what
yeah.
I mean? And he's really paying attention to what I'm doing, the actions I'm taking. So yeah, to see that you had that in your corner, man, that's huge. Like I said, with the absence of a father, man, you need that.
Yeah,
You
it was
need
like
that.
I had three dads. Shit. My oldest brother's 12 or 13 years older than me. The one behind him was 11 years, and the other one behind him, the youngest brother, is still 7 years older than me.
Hmm.
So, I didn't have a dad, but I had three big brothers that was grown enough, in comparison to me, that they could give me the game, years before my time, and they made sure that I had my shit together and I was respecting mama and I was, on the right path.
Hmm.
But yeah, they
They
made sure
did
my
that.
style was tight. They made sure my style was tight. When they caught me lacking, I got back to school that next Monday. I had the fresh Reebok Classics with the whole Dickie outfit, jacket
Yeah.
included,
Hey,
with
nah,
the
you was fresh, bro.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
with the
yeah.
tango hat. So they really
Yeah.
got me fresh, but I always was fresh like an old dude, though. I wasn't fresh like a young man, because I had their game, and they style with me.
That's why, yeah, I thought you was like so much older than what you were, and you had like that Snoop Dogg swag to you. So, especially when you had those braids with the straight back.
Yeah, yeah, come out looking like I'm cripping or something. I got that
Yeah.
whole dicky fit. Like, bruh.
Yeah, all you was missing was a flag.
Mhm.
But but yeah, man. But the other thing that stood out and that I carry with me was something that was pretty much tragic in his life on the business side of things. So he was an entrepreneur himself. He ran his own human resources business, small business. He had maybe 5 or 6 employees, and some things went south because he mixed business with pleasure. So this guy he met, he went into business with, he partnered up with, he they pretty much agreed for him to be the vice president of his small business. And long story short, man, he so this guy, he basically finessed my pops, you know what I'm saying? So as far as checking the books, checking the money, the different transactions, money going in, money coming out. My dad was good with it for an extent of time, but as the relationship built between them, he trusted him more,
Yeah.
and he lapsed on taking care of business because he thought because their friendship was sharp that he didn't trust but verify. He
Right. Right.
just left it in his hands and thought because hey, we're good people, and everything's all hunky dory. I know I feel that he should handle that. He's good. And it came to bite him at the end. He definitely
Yeah.
had to. He stole money from the business. I mean, tens of thousands of dollars that went unaccounted for, and he didn't find out till much later. And he had to file for bankruptcy. So it was something that he always instilled in me. Like he always told me that story and different details, and he went further into it the older I got. So he just made sure never mix business with pleasure. All that, I mean, it could be all good on the personal side and y'all joking and laughing and kikiing and all that. But when we talking business, oh, that shit's out the window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's nothing personal. I rock with you, but we speak in business here, and that's where it needs to stay. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, so like as I got older, um, becoming an entrepreneur in my own right, that's something that I always kept him in the back of my mind and know that I didn't want that happening to me, and I don't
Right.
want him to say, man, I showed you for years and years how I got. And I don't want, him to be like, man, I told you. Why did you do that? You know what I'm saying? So I just want to make
Yeah.
sure that, I'm living up to that at all times.
I gotta listen myself a little bit born out of tragedy. Like when I was 12, my brother got killed. And
Mm-hmm.
when he got killed, he was drunk.
Mm-hmm.
So he just got caught slipping. He had been arguing with this guy, I guess the whole night, however long the night was, and the guy really didn't want to do nothing with him, couldn't handle him physically. They had already tried that. The guy couldn't mess with him, so he went off and acted like he was leaving, and he went and got a strap, and he came back, and he shot my brother in the back 3 times. And obviously my brother felt that coming, so he turned around, he put his hands up, the guy shoot him in his hand, so he started running. The guy shot him in his back 3 times as he was running. And he didn't even
Holy
hit nothing
sh!
vital. He just bled out. But I just remember thinking, like the moment I realized he had gotten killed and that he was drunk when he got killed, I was just thinking, damn, had he been sharp, right? Had he been aware, had he had all his faculties, had he not been caught slipping drunk under the influence out here, he might still be alive. He might have still been able to think his way out of that. So
Mhm.
consequently, like you've always known me, I'm a straight arrow. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not completely opposed to people doing it, but my life lesson that I took there, I took two from it. First of all, never let a lesser man take you out.
Right.
Like I can't have that, right?
Right.
We had to figure something else out. I kill before I let a lesser man do something to me. But on top of that, and maybe that's just my trauma, but on top of that, always keep your head on the swivel and always stay sharp. Be the sharpest man in the room everywhere you go, right?
Yeah.
Always make
Yes,
sure
sir.
that you on top of the safety, and that you can outthink anybody else that's in the room, right? You always have to make sure that you can protect yourself from a mental standpoint and your strategies in place. Sometimes being aimless is fun and it's peaceful, but it doesn't net the same type of results and the same type of longevity as making sure that you are always in contact with your purpose, and not with just with your purpose, but with protecting that purpose through every means possible. Right, like I
Mhm.
live with purpose, but I protect that purpose by making sure I'm safe when I leave my house. I protect that
Mhm.
purpose by making sure I got my gun on me when I
Yeah.
leave the house. I protect that purpose by making sure I make smart decisions so that I don't put myself in danger, so that I can always get back home to my family, because my purpose is my family,
Yes,
right? And
sir.
protecting them means protecting me. So I don't go get drunk. I don't go get high. I don't go do that shit. And I know other people do that, and I'm not knocking that. But for me, I would never get caught slipping like that, just because that's how my brother got caught slipping. And from that point, when I learned that, I was kind of frozen in place, that I couldn't do that. Like it doesn't work for me. I feel like at any moment something can happen because I'm
Right.
not sharp, and I'm normally very sharp, and that becomes my superpower. And so, for anybody listening, uh, even if you do that or you do indulge in those things, just make sure you're always sharp enough to get yourself out of some shit if some shit pops off.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, man. Again, man, my condolences, my deepest condolences, man. Losing a family member like that, a brother in that fashion, bro. Like
Hmm.
and that and that
Yeah.
and that's another thing that bugs me a lot. And as I got older, I started to realize that. And I've been in some altercations, but nothing, involving the gun, but alcohol related, obviously
Hmm.
you leaving yourself very vulnerable, being inebriated like that and intoxicated. So as I got older, I kind of removed myself from the going out scene, the nightlife
Yeah.
in the city or whatever, and house parties, and kind of kept it at the crib,
Right.
and maybe had people over doing it that way. And that doesn't alleviate any problems. It may reduce it, but still, and I'm glad to, now I don't drink, I don't do none of that. Um, but like I said, that stayed in the back of my mind, like, yo, if some shit was to pop off, I'm in no shape or form to protect myself,
Right.
uh, whoever's with me or anything like that. And that's a horrible situation to be in as a man, man. So
Yeah. Put simply, I do believe that a man should be war ready at all times.
right, facts.
At all times, be war ready. And so for me, that was the biggest lesson and takeaway I got from that. And that's my promise to me. That's my promise to my wife and my kids, that no matter what happened or ends up happening to me, that you understand that it wasn't me being neglectful or being negligent. I'm sorry, about my safety. I always cared about coming home. I was war ready. They just got
Yeah.
me. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
might deserve that if you get me, because I'm damn sure on it already. I'm already there and mentally, like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And you just can't prepare for everything. So I just want them to know, and I want everybody to know, always do everything you can to make sure you make it home.
Yeah.
Have your fun, but make it home. And I
Yeah.
wish my brother would have thought that same way, because maybe he'd still be here.
Yeah. Very true, man. And a lot of us don't think about it that much, man. It's something we take for granted. Um, like I said, we can definitely hit another episode off for that war ready, man. So yeah, luckily I got through unscathed, and I'm here today to talk about it. But yeah, Kev, those were the 2 points that stood out to me, the things that my father taught me, and he kind of, lectured me on, that are very much important from now and to the end of time, pretty much. So what's some other ones that you learned about?
My brother had this. Again, I'm the youngest of three, so if I say my brother, I could be talking about any one of three of them.
Yeah.
But my other brother had this thing about, the one that really spent the most time raising me, because we lived in the same house. He was the youngest of my older brothers. He didn't want me to make friends too quick. He said, never make friends too quick, right? You have to measure a man before you call him a friend. And
Hmm.
when I was really little, I used to hate that, because my brother would, like, I get smacked upside the head for violating man rules, and he had this real mature aura, man. Like, he was a man amongst boys, even when he was a boy. And so, him raising
Mm.
me and feeling like he's my dad, and taking that responsibility on, even just 7 years older than me, man, shit, I might get smacked upside the head for violating man rules, right? Now, I just remember
Yeah.
one time I was playing with this kid at the park, and me and this kid playing. We having a good time, and then I come back and say, "Oh, this my friend. I don't know what is Curtis or something." He's like, "Friend? How long you known him?" I'm like, "Oh
Mm.
shit, oh, here you go, man."
Yeah,
Like.
yeah. Yup. Finna hear this.
But you
Uh,
know what? It didn't take very long for me to realize that that was the greatest advice up until that point that he had given me. And even at like 7 years old, I remember the first time a person betrayed my trust or betrayed me as a friend. I realized that, oh, these guys are fickle. The world is a fickle place.
mm,
My brother had a point, right? And even only being 14 at the time when he was telling me that, that was a real point. Like, everybody's not your friend, and don't trust people and don't call people friend. The word friend means so much more to me than it means to a lot of people.
yeah.
Um, like, I don't even have a whole lot of friends. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you, Jesse, Joey,
Mm-hmm.
and look, and everybody go back 15, 17 years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I got one friend I made since '06.
Wow.
Right. Gen,
Yeah, that's
gen,
real. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like,
Yeah.
it's just, I'm not that guy, and it's giving me a lot of peace, and it's let me live a drama-free life, because a lot of people will clamp on to you, and they will suck you for everything you have to offer, and then they'll go find a new friend or a new acquaintance,
Yeah.
or a new resource, because a lot of times people use the word friend in place of resource, but the function of your relationship is what you are, and many times you're just a resource to a person. So,
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that I'm teaching my sons that, every friendly face isn't a friendly heart, and you don't always know the spirit behind the person that you meet, and the spirit behind the stranger that you shaking hands with, man, and the intent behind that person. So, you need to have enough to measure before you call a person a friend, or trust a person with vital information, or vital resources.
Yeah. Yeah. And my parents taught the same lesson with that. My mother being a big one, my stepfather, they were pretty much advocates for that. And, I had to learn the hard way, got into some stuff early. Uh, but like you said, it's something that you gotta kind of learn as you get older, because I feel like as I'm teaching these same things to my children, it's not really going to hit home until it actually happens, until they
Yeah,
experience it for themselves. And I
yeah,
think it's really, it should only really take one good time after
yeah,
you've been told. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
oh shit, this the reality of, oh, it really did happen like that. Okay, okay, okay.
yeah. Well,
I'm not getting fed bullshit here.
right. Well, you get the context, and the reference, but until you get the experience, it don't click.
Mhm.
Like, I'm almost positive when you were seeing the back of them dudes' ass running when them other dudes was trying to
Mm.
jump you, you realize,
Yeah.
yo,
Yeah.
don't keep false company. Like, this is what it is.
That's real.
You
That's
know.
yeah, man. I what was that? Junior year, maybe
Mhm.
sophomore, I think, something like that. And I guess these cats came from CJ or some other school in the city, and I didn't even know that they was really mobbing on us, because I was just unaware of the situation, and kind of absent-minded as far as like, yo, this shit real, because they ran up and hit the guys I was with. And I'm like, are they really hit this cat? Like, it didn't even dawn on me that I got hit. And I didn't know who it was, like 5, 6 of these guys. So it was like wintertime. So I had to take off my bag. I had my coat on. So the first person in front of me, I squared up with. And like soon as the guys I'm with took off, they took off. So I was like, I thought we was finna do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm ready. You got my attention now. But I should have already been, you know what I'm saying, had more situation awareness. But yeah, like I'm thinking, like, let's go. Like, I missed 3 verses, I don't know, 6. But let's go. Like, I just felt like I was with people that could at least defend themselves, or at least put up a fight. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
just I just was like, damn, they didn't handle business how I thought they would. You know what I'm saying? I can see if somebody drew a gun or something, or like, you know what I mean? But I'm just like, people go through that fight or flight is what they say. I was ready
Right.
to fight. Like, we already here. I ain't gotta chase you down, and we knuckled up right here. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I was about to swing on old boy. He was like a shorter dude. So he had got low to the ground to like dodge any, you know what I'm saying, attempt on him. But And then they just took off like track field shit. You know what I'm saying? Both directions. So I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, man. So just, you know, you really don't know guys' character until shit really hits the
Uh,
fan. You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Which,
And you
which,
know, they
which which brings me to the next point, right? Don't
yeah,
expect you from everybody else.
yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
expect you from everybody
I,
else because
I
you
was
was
just about
about
to hit
that.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like instinct, like you know. And I took martial arts when I was younger, for like 4.5 years before I got into basketball. Um, and it wasn't like you know, I'm like, yo, I took martial arts. Let me go use this shit. It was just innate, like it was just a natural reaction. Like, yo, you hit me, I'm hitting you back. Like that's what it was. And um, if I was obviously more aware of the situation and just was ready to brawl from the first action, you know, in the first swing they made, I'd have been more aware to defend myself better and probably would have hit, you know, whoever. They probably wouldn't have ever hit me because I was already had my shit up. But yeah, man, like you said, you know, when it comes to friends, you can't use like I tell my 4-year-old, you know, I just met 2 friends today. Like, no, you met 2 people today.
Right.
You know
Two
what I mean?
acquaintances.
Right. And I asked, like, what's their name? Exactly. Like, you know,
Yeah.
so like I say, she's young and she's still yet to develop what the real term of a friend is. And
Yeah.
a lot of that time, like I said, because I didn't learn that till later. And like I said, you know, when we were kids, we up to a point you use friends pretty loosely. But yeah, man, it's like I said, you just gotta really know that people come and go.
Yeah.
You know, people are very situational, you know, and seasonal in your life, man. So,
That story is interesting. It brings me to another point. My brother always taught me, and he didn't say this with his words, but with his actions. Basically to have courage in the face of fear.
mm,
I remember I wasn't allowed to show fear, right?
mm,
So he never explicitly told me to have courage. What he did was he would put me in a scary ass situation by normally just picking a kid of my size or bigger to fight me randomly
mm,
in the middle of the projects in the courtyard,
yeah,
right? And I wasn't allowed to show fear. If he saw fear, then I was gonna be, roughed up a little bit afterwards.
yeah,
Um, and so yeah, pretty much it was like kid cage fights in the middle of the
yeah,
projects, right? And
yeah,
I had to win, but I didn't necessarily had to win, but I could never quit.
yeah,
And so I won. I don't think I ever lost one, but I was always a little bit afraid because who's not afraid of conflict, of violence, of that type of trauma? But I
mm,
was never allowed to show fear, and fear to feel the fear and do it anyway, to feel
mm,
the fear and continue forward. That's the very definition of courage. Now, it was a unorthodox and potentially toxic way of teaching courage, to throw me in the lion's den and just let me adjust and figure that shit out. But it taught me courage because I was always afraid as a kid. And it got to a point to where he would pick a kid out and I didn't particularly give a damn one way or another. Not because I thought I was winning, but just because what the hell, I got to do it anyway. I guess I should focus on my right jab, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's
mm,
other shit I can focus on in this fear. I can feel the fear and still continue moving forward. And I think that was one of the most valuable lessons I learned because courage is a thing that is applicable to life in every direction. When you start a business as an adult, you need that courage because you're gonna
mm,
be afraid. You're gonna be anxious. Man, what if I lose my ass? Man, what if I lose all this money? Man, what if it don't work? What if the bank comes after me? What if I incur a lot of debt? Like, what if? Do it anyway. Do
mm,
that shit anyway. What if
mm,
this girl don't like me, man? I'm gonna talk to her, man. I think she's so fine. I think she's so beautiful. I just want to holler at her. I just want to take her out, man. Shit, she might not like me. She might think I'm ugly. She wants somebody else. Do that shit anyway.
yeah,
No matter what it is, I learned from a very young age that fear is not the worst thing in the world, and neither is failure.
Hmm.
Whether you get your ass kicked, or whether you fail at a business, or whether you fail or get rejected by a person, romantically, it's not the end of the world.
Hmm.
It almost has no bearings on your future outside of strengthening you for the next event.
Right.
So that was just such a valuable lesson. And even though it came in a very odd way, the project courtyard cage fights of Mount Crest Courts, it really built in me a sense of fearlessness. And by fearlessness, I just mean courage, because we always fear, and I still have fears to this day. I still have fears of failure and fears of all of these different things, but it doesn't stop me. It doesn't have a power over me, and it doesn't make my decisions for me, because I've been through far worse and far more traumatic, and I came out on top.
Yeah. Awesome. That's awesome, man. Luckily, I guess I ain't had to go through that in that sense. But I just
That's
felt as I
you had a daddy, because you had a
yeah,
daddy and whatnot.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, that's some powerful stuff. Um, and I know it's some lessons that may not stand out from, or any other additional lessons that may not stand out as much right now, other than the two I spoke of. But there are some lessons that I've learned either along the way that I want to, you know, press on to my children,
Absolutely.
and for them to learn as they grow older. And like you said, the main point, like you said, is everyone is not your friend,
Yeah.
and like you said, I just think once they understand the value of that word, and how much weight the word friend holds, like I said, they'll be a lot more selective. And I just really think that as far as friends go, they're the next best thing to family in a lot of ways, and they're not willing to go to bat for you, stand up for you, or willing to fight for you, to protect you, whatever, do it as a team, whatever it takes, then that's not the qualities of a friend.
My favorite quote about Friends is this one. I thought this was slick as hell when I first heard it. Uh, as it pertains to my friends, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies.
Yeah.
I thought that shit was G.
Yeah, it
And
is.
it's funny because I got 4 friends and they've been friends forever.
Yeah.
06 is the youngest friend I got since is '06, right? So
Wow.
uh, you know, uh, I think that that's a very valuable lesson to learn. My brother also taught me something else, and I want to speak on this. He always taught me to do what's right, and not do it for credit, but just do it because it's right. One
Mm,
time when I was 11, I watched my brother pry an old woman who had wrecked her car in an intersection, and she was stuck in the car, and the car was smoking, so there was some fear of the car burning up. And I watched him rip the door open. I mean, he had to bend the metal and everything to get this woman out. And he was young. He's 7 years older than me. I was 11, so he's about 18. Uh, and he ripped this girl. He got this woman up out of his car, helped her out of the car, got her to a safe place. The ambulance came. The news cameras came. And
mm,
as the news cameras and the ambulance were pulling up, other good Samaritans supposedly was running up, trying to, help out too. And he seen the news cameras. I don't know how the hell or why the hell they showed up, but we had stayed there for a while, so they knew there was, something going on. But as soon as the news cameras got there and the ambulance finally got there, he jumped back in the car and we rolled off before he could take any credit at all. And I was
nice.
just thinking, man, what the fuck? Man, you about to be this no man. Say
This the
it's your
time.
close, right? It's your close up, man. Say cheese. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
he's just like, man, Kev, you got to do what you're supposed to do because it's the
Mhm.
right thing. We ain't doing it for credit. We doing it because we great and we gonna be great to
Yeah.
people. And I just remember hearing that, and
Wow.
it was such a clear example because it wasn't like he was trying to make a statement for me. He was just doing it. I was asking, man, what, but brother, cameras are right there. He gonna get the credit because
Yeah.
this other dude came out of nowhere. He straightened his back up and started talking to the news cameras and shit. I'm like, man, he gonna get the credit. He like, we don't do anything for credit, Kev. And I'm like,
Mm.
That's deep. And from then
They,
on, man, like
yeah.
he only had to say shit once, man. My brother was so serious. He's still so serious. When he do something or say something, bro, that's it. That's law. He mean it. He
Mm-hmm.
believed that. And
Mm-hmm.
because he was so convicted at that moment, I believed it too. And from that point on, I've done a great many right things, not for credit, but just because they were the right things to do. And I think that was real valuable. So hopefully I can pass that on to my son, that he can do good deeds and good works and love people just because it's the right thing to do, and it lives in his heart to do so.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. I had the same things that go through my mind, and I don't, like you said, you don't do it for the credit. You don't do it to be popular, or for people to praise you or anything like that. You do it, like you said, because it's right. You have the abilities and the strength, or whatever resources someone else needs, and you do it from the heart, man. And it makes you feel
Mhm.
good. It's almost like, you know, it's intrinsic how it happens. And that's all you need, is to know that you did something great to help someone. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's spot
yeah.
on, man.
You know,
Um,
all right, go ahead, do your thing.
oh no, I'm just gonna say the other thing I wanted my children to learn from is to be independent. Of course, we want to establish that, but also don't be too don't be too proud to ask for help. Don't think help, you so far beyond help, you know what I'm saying, that it's not still valuable, or it doesn't, it's not going to happen, or that you're not going to need it. You know what I mean? Because you can't, there's nothing in this world you can do that's going to be great without help. You know what I'm saying? So I just want them to live with knowing that, like, hey, yeah, you may get to a certain extent by yourself, but just know, if you have plans on continuing, you're gonna need some help. And that's fine. That's okay to ask for help. And if you don't get the help, that's cool too. At least you went out your way to ask for it. And like I said, we teaching them how to be independent anyway, but you continue further, along your path by yourself. But just know that help is something that you're gonna need in life.
I think I think along with that though, the people that have a fear of asking for help are generally more concerned with the way it looks, the optics of asking for help, and they're
Mm-hmm.
also concerned with what people think of them. And so, along with that life lesson, I'd like to share with my son, and I think I have, and it's one of our daily drill downs for real. Just don't give a fuck about what people think. It
Yeah.
is the most Another person's opinion is the most useless thing in the world to a person who's trying to achieve something for themselves. Is
Mm.
worrying about what somebody else got to say about what you're doing for yourself, or what you're doing for your family, or what you a dream to attain. It doesn't make any sense to care about what people think. It's so limiting. It's a handicap. It's like cancer, man. And so, not being too afraid to ask for help almost is always an indicator that maybe they value the opinions and the ideas of others a little bit too strongly. And so that's something I've always coached my son Noah, especially. He's 5, so these are issues that he's having now in kindergarten. Some kids like you, some kids don't. And it takes everything out of me to just not be like, fuck them kids. You gotta train them in the way they should go. So I try to not say it that way, but you know, caring about what everybody else thinks about what you're doing ultimately leads to a life uh, of 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 subservience, social subservience. You find yourself doing what you believe to be accepted versus what you want or what you love to do. So it's really important to always figure out who you are, who you want to be, and go chase that like hell.
Right.
It doesn't matter who or what other people want you to be. It doesn't matter who or what your parents even want you to be. I would rather my son live a happy life and as long as it's safe, within reason, a happy life and a fulfilled life that I disagree with over a toxic, unhappy, confined life that I've structured for him.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I want him to really come out here and live a life that he can be proud of and he can love. and that's more important than everything. And so, for those of us who are worried about the views of a stranger, fuck that, man. I don't
Right.
have time for that. And again,
Yeah.
that goes back to that courage, man. Feel that fear, that anxiety, or whatever feeling you have about the opinions of others, especially if you think that maybe they won't be favorable. Feel that fear and that
Hmm.
anxiety and do the shit anyway. Still
Hmm.
do you no matter what. Still do you no matter what.
Right. Right. Yep. Move through it. Move through it, man. Um, One of the last things probably is to kind of go along with that is don't expect people to behave or think the way that you do.
Oh,
Simply,
dope. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, just simply because they aren't you. You know what I mean? Everyone doesn't live by the same code. They don't have the same ethics, the same principles, same morals. That's fine. I want them to understand that you're the only you. Don't expect them to think and understand the same things, and put those people in their box, in their categories, like, okay, I know how this one is on when it comes to that, and how this one is. And you don't have to value these people's opinion because they aren't yours. They don't have to do the same for you. Just kind of keep that barrier as far as understanding that just because it's not going over with them, and they're being defensive, or y'all don't agree, that's okay. You don't have to take it personal. Just
Right.
understand that y'all just two different people. Agree to disagree, and move on. Or if, like I say, if either one of y'all are getting eaten up too much about it, either the relationship should be suspended, or you know what I mean, y'all thinking too deep into it. And real friends, people that's real close, they don't let stuff like that kind of divide them.
Right.
You just kind of keep those things separate. And y'all either don't speak on it, or like I say, if it makes that big of a deal, then maybe y'all should go y'all separate ways. You know what I'm saying? If y'all can't talk through it.
Yeah. Can't forgive about it, then forget about it.
Yeah.
It's so much less important to me that people agree with what I say than when I started like my YouTube channel. I remember the first 20, 30, 40, 50 videos I made. It was super important when somebody got in the comment section was like, I agree. And then they gave their spiel.
Mhm.
And I started getting more haters the more popular I got. I disagree. Fuck what you got to say. All of these
Mhm.
different ideas. And, at first it was like, ugh, it kind of hurt us, gave me a feeling. And now I'm glad I've gone through that and watched myself mature, because now I just don't give a damn about what people had to say. And I don't even give a damn about what I have to say in relationship to what somebody else is doing. Like,
Mhm.
as much as my opinion doesn't matter about them, I'm sorry, as much as their opinion doesn't matter about me, my opinion does not matter about them.
Mhm.
And I realize that, like, we always think, oh, fuck their opinion, but my
Yeah.
opinion, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, fuck our opinions, because neither one of our opinions about each other are worth a hill of beans, man. And
Mhm.
I think when you just realize that, man, we all human, we all trying to figure this shit out. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day, as long as we're living lives that we can be proud of, and
Yeah.
and not anybody else be proud of us, but we be proud of ourselves. That's all that matters, man.
Exactly.
I don't even take my opinion about other people that damn serious anymore,
Yeah.
because I don't expect me from other people. I'm me for a reason, and
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. And a lot of times, I mean, it's cool to disagree, to have different, viewpoints and things like that. I just think it gets out of hand when people are disrespectful and they try to get personal about it. You know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean? It's like, okay, oh, that's your side. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? All right, well, you rock with that, and I'm rocking over here. But now, if you trying to attack me and chastise and do all this other unnecessary attacking, it's like, come on, man. We ain't even, feel me?
I made myself stop dedicating energy to trying to change the minds and the hearts of others who didn't first agree with me.
Hmm.
It's so exhausting. I heard a statistic one time in a book. I think it was How to Win Friends and Influence People. I was reading that book, and he was saying, I don't know what figure it was, what percentage. It might have been 60 or 70% or whatever percentage he said. We spend so much of a percentage of our lives and the energy that we expend trying to convince others of our point of view.
Mm.
He said, you have so much more energy and so much more joy when you have given up the idea that you need to convince others of your point of view. And even while we have this podcast and we saying our piece and we hope that somebody could be positively influenced by it, I have given up the idea of convincing anyone who needs convincing. If you hear my words and you're changed by them, man, that's what's up. More power to you. Love and respect, brother.
Yeah.
But if you don't, that's what's up. More power to you. Love and respect, brother. Like it's the same. And it
Yeah.
has to be that way because if I invest myself on how you evolve based on your encounter with me, outside of taking the bad and leaving taking the good and leaving the bad, anything after that exhausts me. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just really important that, and again, back to the fatherhood thing, I always try to teach my son that the only opinion that matters is his about him, not
Yeah.
his about somebody else's, and not somebody else's about him. Mind your damn business and do your damn thing like only you can do it. Somebody listen to this podcast and be like, I don't like these dudes. Fuck them. That's what's
Mhm.
up. Hey,
Word.
thanks for
Rock out.
listening, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, brother.
Yeah.
But I think that that's just real important. And I don't know, man. I'm with it. I think that was a good discussion.
Yeah, it definitely was. It definitely was. So, everyone listening, we hope that you enjoyed this one and had the same conversation with those close to you, other men, other fathers, whomever, children. What are some lessons that they're learning? What are some things that they're continuing to think about, thrive on, remind themselves of as they, move along this journey we call life. So, as always, we're on IG, we're on Twitter. Come find us, holler at us, comment. We're posting content, several times a week. Check us out. We're on all major streaming services. Wherever you're hearing this on, we're on plenty other ones. Share, like, you know what I mean. Engage with us. Let us know what you're thinking. But yeah, man, this was definitely a good one. We got more to come. But as always, it's Dale Holloway. That's Kev Hick. Peace and love.
Peace and love and sleep, brother. I'm tired of the motherfucker.